Here is my first ever non-animation in the past, week. I'm going to be doing something else while you're doing this, so wait. So basically, this is a video beginning a series called, I want to call this series, I forgot what I was going to call the series. Oh yeah, Learner's Cleva. It's this thing where you learn things about Cleva. It's the name Learner's Cleva. I want to start off with Claevish government. We have 3 branches like the United States. 1, 2, 3 branches. I'm not German, so I would say 1, 2, 3 branches. What? Basically, the branches are, like in the United States, executive, legislative, and judicial. But unlike the United States, they're made up of different governing bodies. In the United States, the executive branch is made up of the president, vice president, cabinet, and executive departments. In Cleva, it's made up of the prime minister. It's made of the prime minister, the deputy prime minister, the chairman, kind of the cabinet, and all the executive departments. I want to tell you why I said kind of the cabinet in the legislative branch, which I have now. The legislative branch is made up of just the cabinet. The cabinet is both a cabinet and a legislature. Next up comes the judicial branch, made up of only one person. The electoral general, which you do not know who he is. Oh, and actually the executive branch is also made up of the ceremonial president, a president who does ceremonial things. The electoral general is this guy that I don't know why he's called the electoral general, even though I made up that name. The electoral general is, I still have that ink on here. The electoral general is this guy that inaugurates the prime minister, can choose prime minister in times of crisis, and also head of the judicial system. And this is the federal government. Those are 3 branches. What can all of them do? Like in the United States, we have checks and balances. The prime minister can sign bills. Also, they can sign bills. They can enforce bills. Create executive orders. They can create executive orders. They can also. That's really all I can think of what they do. They can They can also propose constitution edits, and they can also propose laws and bills. They can also become a legislator if they want, and they're also the head of the cabinet, aka in this case the Lakiate Council. Next up comes the cabinet. There's 2 definitions of cabinet in Cleva. The cabinet definition I've used, which is the legislature, or the other definition, which is the people that head government departments. Probably the most important is me, the CNVD secretary. I almost said CNVA secretary. The CNVD secretary is the person who tallies up votes, holds impeachment meetings, can select attorneys, can select national attorneys. They can also they he also prints money. Does national journalism, and yeah. He also is head of the military. I think that's it. They can also hold elections. They deliver mail. And they're head of the census. That, yeah, that took quite a lot of work. By the way, first thing, journalism, wait a minute, Claevish education involves website to remember and learner's Cleva. This is learner's Cleva, and yeah. Next up, what are the powers? So yeah, the cabinet also has the power to. The cabinet, there's also a bunch of other secretaries, which I am going to mention in part 2 of the Claevish government course, which will be about the less important cabinet secretaries, along with the general structure of the Claevish constitution. And yes, in this case, the demo name would be Claevish, not Cleave-in. Cleave-in is when you're referring to a person. Claevish just means if a thing is anything. It means any other thing from Cleva, like the Claevish Constitution, Claevish Statute, Claevish Law. But you could say a Cleave-in general, a Cleave-in person. And that's it for this episode of Learner's Cleva.